one of the greatest poets of our generation, top 5 MCs all time, easy, one of the illest to ever touch a pen. One more time, Metro Chicago, make some noise for Chuck D.
Let me move my seat closer, man.
All right, yeah. Let's see. Do you need some water? You good? That's a penny, yeah, man.
What, is it heads up?
It is. It's heads up. I think it's a little corroded.
Heads up.
All right. First, how we do? It's tails. Later for that penny. Yo, welcome to Chicago.
Thank you, Kev. Thank you. Hello, how y'all doing? Louder than the what? Louder than the what? Y'all the bomb.
Yo, let me ask you, were you when did you come to know that we had named this entire festival after you?
Well,
and also, should we talk to our lawyers? We got lawyers on the board.
Well, number one, first of all, hello. Number two, when social media start picking up, you start hearing more things. But I've been coming here for years. Yeah. My wife technically is from here. She's born in here, so my in-laws are from this area. So I'm always getting waves from this area, especially the last 10 years. So when I heard about it, I'm like saying I'm humbled by it, but it's not about me at all. It's about y'all, and my job is servicing. So anybody that's out there trying to get to the understanding of what they could do with their talent and manifesting it into a skill, that's what I'm all about. It's not about me at all. So I thank y'all.
Word. I do want to say that it is, I feel that, and I just want to let you know it is very much about you two, and in a very real way.
You two, the band?
You two, no, you, Chuck, if it wasn't for your poetical, political prophecies, we for real wouldn't be here. But I'm going to go back, but I want to start with just what are you working on and most excited about right now? Where are you at in 2016? What are you working on in terms of your art, and where are you at in terms of your mind?
Well, number one, my area is service. So anybody that does music and does art and does culture, my job is maybe could do things to provide services to make their thing understood, to even get to the next phase. Rapstation.com has been my baby for the longest, 12 to 13 station channels, and we support thousands of artists, music. So if anybody, you could go to the applications on your phone, because everybody got a phone these days, got a phone that got a camera on it as well as a computer. So go down, pull down the application, rapstation.com, and you'll see probably the best hip-hop radio ever, and it supports anything in slam poetry down to instrumentals. And we're the best in the world at it. Spit Digital is, we distribute and tell artists that don't wait for a label. You could be your own label, and we provide tools for you to be your own label and give you ideas on how to support your art into making a living off of it. I didn't say making a killing, making a living, meaning that if you got your job and you go to a place and you do your music and it pays you for it, bit by bit you'll learn how to make this into a career that you can feed your family with or yourself or whatever. It's not one of those things where you look on TV and somebody buys himself a $655,000 earring and then tells you that's what the music is about. That's corporate bullshit.
Yeah, indeed. So this rapstation.com really in a lot of ways I think prophesied also and predicted this moment in music. In the building tonight, I just want to shout out the Bennetts, Mr. and Mrs. Bennett in the building, the parents of Chance and Taylor, two incredible MCs and poets in Chicago. And what young people in the city have figured out is a way to circumnavigate capitalism and go directly to a consumer. When the social experiment released Surf for the Free, they had hundreds of thousands and now millions of downloads. This is something that you've been talking about for a while at this point. And so are you happy with the direction that music distribution is in 2016, in this moment? And also, what does it look like a few years from now?
Well, it's necessary because radio is garbage. Look, if you look, first I want to tell you how I'm gonna tell you how garbage radio is, and it's the next movement of shut them down. Is shutting down what doesn't support you. This program, these artists, all the artists that have been in Chicago for the longest should have been supported by Chicago and Northern Illinois media forever.
Yep.
You had blues artists that came out of here that at least were supported on WVON, the Voice of the Negro, because the record company owner owned the radio station and realized that he could support Chicago artists. When hip-hop started here in Chicago many, many years ago, immediately you had jump-off radio shows. You know, Chicago State, you had University of Chicago, you had
HBK,
my man
JP
Pink
Chill.
House,
Yeah.
you know, you have Ramon Ski, and what they did is made sure that they supported Chicago artists. Today, when you hear artists on the radio that ain't even from the city, all day long, who ain't going to visit the city, it doesn't make no sense. Yeah. You got people who want to live here, that want to make a living in the town that they live. So a Chicago radio station should be supporting Chicago talent, local, forever. You should be hearing that. You should be hearing Chicago talent 85% of the time and 15% everybody else. Yeah. So if you want to start a movement of shutting something down, shut down your radio station until they support.
Let's go.
And look. You could easily do it, just like I give salute to everybody. They stopped Trump in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Stop your bullshit radio stations. Stop them from going to work for a day. If you do that, you'll make news around the world, because every local artist needs to be heard in their local area, because that's where they should make a living, and that's where they should do their art and get work for.
Wow. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So that's where, if you ask me where my mind is at in 2017, it ain't about the national artists, it's about the local artists that need to be fed in their hometown.
That's right. That's what's up. I want to go back to being young in Long Island, because I'm curious about how you began to develop as a young person. What was being played in the house? What were you reading? What were you listening to? And how did you begin to develop, I don't know if it was simultaneous, but that emerging artistic, creative, and also political consciousness?
I come from the 60s, so in black music, born in 1960, artists were in my household, like Chicago's own Curtis Mayfield, Chicago's own Mavis Staples and the Staples Singers, Chicago's own Maurice White, Earth, Wind and Fire. You know, Chicago's own, who exposed us to music because artists were like family members. The late great Don Cornelius started Soul Train. Also was a DJ on WVON, which stood for Voice of the Negro. All this black music that came across were in my house and was invited like they was aunts and uncles, because what they were saying in their music was welcome. And what they were saying in their music never hurt the family, it only enhanced the family. So every single artist, whether it came through the Shy artists, Motown artists, artists that came through Soul Train, their music actually enhanced us as a people, as much as Ebony and Jet magazine, also from Chicago. So it was important these were like relatives when they played the records, okay? Knowing about people like Carl Davis and the Shy Lights and stuff like that. So you gotta know that if you wanna be enlightened to the future of music, all you gotta do is study music in your home turf here.
Listen.
There's no such thing as new music being the future when there's already been a past that's already the future, because y'all are the future. So if you just study the past music here, rock and roll doesn't take off if it's not for the blues. And the beginning of the electric blues start here. So I think the biggest thing that we need, and we talked about this earlier, whenever you don't teach music and culture in a school system, from K to 12, then you got people fiending for it after 12th grade, going to a corporation thinking they got to buy culture. Teach music, you teach history by default. Teach artists, and also teach artists how they can make a living, and support artists to make a living. And that can happen when you change the rules and the laws in your local area. And like I said, man, artists got to be supported, but people got to know these things. It's as important as knowing Patrick Henry, whoever the hell he was.
Yeah, I don't know who dude is, but I'd rather know.
Well, I
Chuck
know
D.
who he is too,
Oh,
but
wow.
he's not more important to me than Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions. So culture is the thing that ties us as human beings together and knocks the differences to the side. This is why in this country, they don't allow us to learn culture, because the culture is the truth. And I've been to 104 countries. Listen, I've been to 104 countries. Countries have wakened up over the last 15 years, especially with social media, something that everybody got access in their pockets to open themselves to the world. Cultures around the world have realized that music and art is the thing that's going to progress their society. They're smaller countries, they're more stealth, and they go into the future faster because they know the arts are important. This country does not realize the arts are blood. It's the blood of the society.
Word. So, yeah, y'all can make some noise for sure. So we work with thousands of young writers throughout the course of the year. I'm curious about your creative practice. How do you come to the page? How often do you write?
Culture is something I was raised by my parents, and we were free thinkers in our household. So my heroes are my mother and my father. I recently lost my father last month, and it was an honor to be that man's son. You hear me? It's an honor to be that man's son. And my brother's here to vouch for that. My wife is here to vouch for that. It's like they allowed us to be free thinkers and to be, to love the music and trust the music and trust and follow the music. My writing process is based on just paying attention and listening. My writing process is to study, the past, that I wasn't impressed by people making records, because that people have made trillions of records before me. So when I put out my first record in 1987, I was like, well, just one record added to trillions of them. So I never was a reason to get big-headed. That humbles you. My calling, really, seriously, my calling is to make sure every single artist knows enough to be able to begin to explore themselves, and then has the ability to be able to forward their art, and also has the area that something will embrace their art on the other side. I went to college 6 years to get a 4-year degree. But my degree is a Bachelor in the Arts in 1984. I got an honorary art degree. I studied the art, meaning that it didn't start because of a period that I just dug it and I want to get the degree in what I dug. I studied the arts. When you study the arts, you study music, it makes whatever you want to be easier, because you know the obstacles to knock aside and go along the way. So my writing process is based on just paying attention. It's the cheapest price to pay. Everybody has a different style of what makes you want to write. Sometimes the music, sometimes the words, sometimes you want to write to the rhythm and be an MC or a rapper. Sometimes you want to have the words outstand the music, which makes it more of a slam poet thing. It's up to you. It's great. Anybody know Bruce Lee? Great martial artist? Bruce Lee had a saying, Kev. He says, "I cannot teach you. My mission is to help you explore yourself." That's something I want to apply to artists, because art is subjective, and somebody might think a piece of art is beautiful and somebody might think it's whack as hell. That's okay at the talent level. Everybody has a talent. Building it to the skill level, when you start to have it embraced and shared by other people, is all up to you. And these are the things I think have to be taught from kindergarten to 12th grade. And once those basics are down, when somebody's 19 or 20, then they know how to direct and where to go with their art. And I think that's very important. So the immense talent by Loud and the Bomb is just unprecedented, because here we are in 2016, and people will slice and dice you up with great words.
I'm going to introduce a few more folks to the stage right now.